As many people around the west part of Africa and me coming from Togo, we use Alaffia as a greeting. And Alaffia is a state of peace, health and peace. And that is what I'm striving to do. In order to reduce poverty and the suffering of the people, we need to have peace and health. And I also feel Alaffia need to embody the best of Africa.
You chose to use beauty and personal care products as a business venture to show part of the best of Africa and to bring about change. Why did you focus on that aspect?
One, we have the skills on how to use it. In the DNA of Alaffia is what do we know how to use, how to do, that we're not importing a knowledge from America or from Europe. We already know how to make shea butter. We know how to make coconut oil. Also, I wanted to do something that is preserving our culture. Additionally, it is something that the world needs. Africa can produce products that are natural. The world is shifting away from chemical-based products. So using a natural ingredients that we have indigenous way of making it simply just made sense to me. But it also was feasible. Alaffia was not started for the intentions of self-accumulations of income or wealth. It was about to do good in the community. Because of that, you have to be reasonable in choosing something that you can actually do.
Your company is known as a fair trade beauty company. What does it entail?
In some ways, to me, fair trade is opposite of the colonialism. The essence of colonialism is let's take the product or the raw materials or the knowledge for as cheap or free. What fair trade is saying is let's compensate a fair living wages for the product or the knowledge, and let's provide safe working environment. When it comes to Alaffia, it's really ensuring that fair living wages are compensate to those who are making the product. In Togo, in one of our Alaffia centers, the women's get paid 4 times the local wage because you got to pay people enough to be able to send their children to school. Fair trade is also ensuring that the primary ingredient is paid at a fair value. The person can sustain their life on it. Many of our communities, 70% of our communities still live in rural area in Western Africa today. Their livelihood is based on either farming or collecting things from the wild. So we must pay them a fair price for what they're collecting or what they're farming.
Talk to us about some of the products in your brand. How do you choose them? Why did you choose them?
It's not so much about the choice, it's the understanding of what the world consumer, what do America wants to consume. It doesn't do us any good to try to alleviate poverty or to create a product that the customers won't buy. We have to be relevant to the marketplace. The diverse ingredients from moringa, from shea, from coconut oil, from baobab, all those various ingredients that we have in abundance, and based on the consumer's need on the skin types, we create the product. What is also important is creating a diverse form of product. Alaffia has 190 different products.
Alaffia has championed and funded initiatives in maternal health care, education, reforestation, and regenerative agriculture. Can you please tell us about some of these projects you embark on?
Given the difficulties and the challenges that we face and we know our realities, we need to approach it comprehensively. We cannot simply just do environment and ignore education. Because the driver of society is quite simple, really. It's job creation and investment in social activities that will drive the economy of the future. So in order to drive the economy of the future, we need to invest in education. But also, those community projects are personal to me. In maternal health, there's a practice that we know in our communities as FGM. My mother went through it. I have a sister that went through it. And I was the boy that carried the bucket of water when the women had been cut. I have witnessed what we do in our community. So it makes sense that Alaffia will invest in maternal care. I have lost sisters myself because they can't spend $10 to buy antibiotic after the infection of giving birth. And an average 1 in 16 women would die in sub-Saharan Africa by trying to give birth. Those numbers are similar to the death rate in the US back in late 1700. The Alaffia's investment goes beyond than my own personal feelings. It's also because it reduces poverty. We know that when we lose a mother, the other siblings are going to drop out the school. So if Alafia's intention is to reduce poverty, then we need to keep our mothers alive. And I think it's a moral thing to do anyway.
So, what are some of the challenges you often encounter? You spoke about some of them already, but talk to us about this experience as an entrepreneur, as an African native, as someone who is importing in the US from Africa.
I call it regional integration. Uh, it is fundamental to our economic growth. Before we even talk about how do we sell the product in America, is how are we selling product to each other, and how we're driving our own local economies within the neighboring countries. It has never been easy in terms of, so we need regional integration, and I meant mostly logistics and banking. The enforcement of contract is very important. In a business, you need to feel safe that a contract I have with you can be enforced in the court. And that gives you the confidence to have it being binding and to invest. If we cannot have faith in our court systems, then it's difficult to be able to engage and want to invest. Part of entrepreneurship is to overcome the challenge and to change what is not working, and to speak about what is not working to our leaders around the world, and particularly in Africa, so that we can make it more possible to do business.
What advice would you give people who would like to engage in doing business from Africa to the United States, getting products, for example, locally and shipping them here? The kind of business model that you've adopted, what would you say?
Simply having a product is not enough. How are you going to be different on the shelf or an e-commerce platform? So your reason to be is critical, and it's fine if you just want to make money. But I can tell you from the past 18 years, you can make money and you can also serve your community. As far as the US is concerned, it is understanding, is this a product that Americans want to consume? Is it relevant to American psychology? People may feel intimidated by American regulation. All I can tell you is that the regulations in America are less than regulations in Togo. So start small and don't give up.
What about the perception that products that come from the African continent do not compete when it comes to quality?
Clearly, we have a lot of misconception when it comes to our continent. The Alaffia product are within the top 5 brand within the natural food industry in America. And clearly, those are all African-based products. So I'm convinced that we can override the misconception. We need to explain more that we are offering something unique to the world. We need to change our psychological ourselves. Once we change our own psychological base with confidence that what I have is unique and you, the world, don't have it, therefore, you got to have this.
So, when we talk about social responsibility in retail, what do you see as the future of social responsibility?
I think the social responsibility go hand in hand with the appetite, at least in America, in Europe as well, for consuming natural product, right? Because social responsibilities really focuses about the ethics that governs or how you may spend the results that you derive from the economic activity or how you run your organization. When we look as we go in the future, the social responsibility become even more critical. And I believe that Africa is very well positioned to be part of that growth. We can make products that are natural to begin with. That is what the world wants to consume. We need to invest in our communities. We need to be socially responsible entrepreneurs because our community needs us. We cannot wait for somebody else to come and solve our own problem. We got to be solving the problems that we have.
what are some of the takeaways from this experience with Alaffia, and what would you describe as the most satisfying achievement of your work?
I have a long way to go, and I cannot claim an achievement on my own. Certainly, there's many people that have contributed to where we are today, and we're blessed and humbled by it. But if I were to point out an achievement, I think two things. We take Togo, for instance. Outside Lomé, Alaffia is the longest and the majority woman-run enterprise. Most of our organizations die within 2 years. We're on our 18th year. But I think it's also for me to demonstrate to the world that Africa and African-based ingredients and African-derived fundamental knowledge has the right to play with the big guys on American shelves, and we do.
Olowo-n'djo Tchala, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.